So I guess the live stream thing didn't work. I actually don't have any idea what was causing the echo, and I tried to stream straight to YouTube and it didn't work. So I'm just going to answer the questions and do the video and post it to YouTube. So if you want to send me your questions, then you can send it to info@chickasawonlinelanguagearts.com, or you can go to my website and enter it on the contact form there and send it to me. And I'll just share that screen with you again so you can get that information. So my email address is info@chickasawonlinelanguagearts.com, or the website is www.chickasawonlinelanguagearts.com, and you can send me your questions. Okay, now before we jump in and I restart, we're going to be covering questions that people have sent to me, email or posted in my group or texted to me. And if you're watching the replay, then yeah, you can go ahead and send in the questions too. Okay, but before we get started, as I was saying in the original video, this is the last weekend to enroll in Chickasaw Comprehension Level 1. And this is literally the fastest way to learn Chickasaw. In only a few weeks, my students are reading, writing, and speaking Chickasaw, and everyone that goes through my program is conversational. So I encourage you, if you want to take the class, to do it quickly because the spaces fill up quick and there's limited spaces. Okay, let's jump into the questions. All right, so my first question is from Nicolette Blount. Hopefully I'm saying your name correctly. And she wants to know how to translate "listen to the wind, it talks." So there's a couple ways you could translate this. I'll just put on the screen a couple of options and I'll screen share that. Let's see. Okay. So you could say, Maliat anompali kan ish haglat shki. Okay, so this is, the wind is speaking, you should listen. So our first word here is to be windy, and that's Molly, but we want to use it like a noun. So we're going to add a glottal stop here at the end. And then now we've turned it into a noun, and we want it to be the subject of our sentence. So if you happen to watch the previous video that I made, then you'll know that the "at" ending tells us what the subject is. And then anompali is to speak. So this would be like the wind is speaking. And we need this to be a dependent sentence. So we've added this dependent ending on here. And ish is you, and hoglo is to listen, and it loses its O because we're now adding the should ending, which is achki. So you should listen. So mali a anompali kan ish haglashki. Or you could possibly make two sentences out of it, which in this case it would be Mali ish haglat shki. So you should listen to the wind. Actually, we need another glottal stop here. So you should listen to the wind. It is speaking. All right. So I hope that helps you out, Nicolette. And moving on to the next question is Bradley Chapman. And he writes, I would like to use Chickasaw to train my dog. So he wants to have words like sit, stay. Let's see. So he wants words like sit, stay, down, come, heel, and get down. Although I'm not sure the difference between the down and the get down in dog training, but anyway, I've got some options here for you. So let's put those on the screen and talk about those. Okay, so we could use for sit, we want to use benili. So benili is the action of sitting down. So you wouldn't want to use benitli, which is another way to describe somebody in a sitting position. So we'd want to use benili. So that would be sit. And you could actually even just say Benny to the dog, because dogs typically do better with 2 or 3 syllable words max when it comes to recognizing your commands. At least that's what I've been told. Or so Benili or Benny. And then stay would be anta. Notice with anta that it has an accent on the top of the A. So that means that your pitch should go up. So anta. And that would be like stay there. You can use it as a command. And then for down, you could say aka. All right, for the next one, come here, is Minty. Incidentally, when I was growing up, we had a dog named Minty, which is funny. A dog called come here. And then for heel, you could use the word asita. And then to get down, akoa. So these words wouldn't necessarily translate exactly from English to Chickasaw, but they would be good to use for pet commands. And I've used some of these for my cat and my dogs, actually, but I don't have any dogs right now. But they work great for pets. Okay, so let's take a look at what do we have next? Oh, yes. Well, after that failed attempt at live streaming, but I still want to ask you if you would please subscribe to this channel. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers, and if you could help me do that, that would be great. And if you could like and share my videos, that would really help a lot. And since this is my 10-year anniversary, I'm really trying to step up my YouTube posts, video posts. So hopefully I can provide more valuable content for these YouTube subscribers for you on YouTube. Okay, so let's get into another question. So it looks like we have one from Ian Maynard. And he says, I'm trying to teach my son animal words. And he wants words like badger, snail, or hedgehog. Well, we don't have a word for badger or hedgehog, but I do have one for snail. And I can show that one to you here. Snail. Okay, so this would be pronounced hosolo. So the O is a nasal O. So hosolo. And I did hear that the elders made up some new words for animals that we didn't have words for before, and it's in a book called Funny on chickasawpress.com. So it's a children's book. I haven't gotten a copy of it yet, though. So maybe if you get a copy, you can tell me what you think of it. All right, so we've got our snail here. And then we have William wait, let me see if I say this last name right. Brichin. I'm not sure if I said that right, but William wants to know how to say, I am praying for you. I wish you blessings. Okay, I've written it out here. Obviously, there's going to be more than one way to say this. So here's one way of saying I'm praying for you. This is all one word. This is Chickasaw for you. Okay, so if you watched my last video, then you understand that Chickasaw is a polysynthetic language, whereas English is analytic. So analytic breaks everything up into parts. You have all these separate words, but in Chickasaw, a lot of times they all get smushed together. So This would be Anompil bash ishta chinompalili. Wait, Anompil basha ishta chinompalili. And that's just all one word. So how that word is put together is you've got your word Anompil basha, which is like to pray. And then anompali is to say something, and then you're saying something about something. So it's kind of like I'm praying for you. So let's see if I can say that better. Anompil basha isht achinompalili. So I'm praying for you. Anompil basha isht achinompalili. Okay, so let's see. Now I also wanted to know the second half was I wish you blessing. So we don't really have like a word that specifically means like blessing. So you could either use like the word help, like I wish that God would help you, or that he would like treasure you. That would be the word holy tobly, which I'm going to get into that word a little more, but it means like to treasure, take care of, or hang on to. So you could either say it like this, Aba benili at achi pilatni sabana. So, or actually, I should put an accent here. So notice the accent here. So in the word for God, that it's the pitch is going to go up. So Aba benili at achi pilatni sabana. That would be a better pronunciation. So I wish for God to help you would be the translation of that. Or here's another way to say it using holy tobli. So Abba benitli at chi holy toblatni sabana. Abba benitli at chi holy toblatni sabana. So like I wish for God to treasure you, take care of you, or hang on to you. So that would be another way of saying it. Okay, let's see. The next one is coming up in a second here. Oh, yeah. So, another little before we get into the next question is, as I said, this is my 10-year anniversary, and I can't believe that I've been teaching for this is 10 years now. It's pretty exciting. So, we've got a lot of things coming out this year, a lot of announcements that are going to happen, and hopefully I'll be able to figure out the live stream thing, and that'll be a thing. But anyway, so if you go to my website, if you would please subscribe to my emails, and then you won't miss a thing each time I come out with an announcement. And sometimes you get perks by being on the email list. So just saying. All right, let's get into the next question. This one comes from Nita Fixico, it looks like. By the way, Nita means bear. And Nita wants to know what Afami Hemita Ayokpa means. Okay, I'm going to put that one on the screen. And this is what Nita wrote, Afami Hemita Ayokpa. So Ayokpa is just another way to write happy. It's more like the old way of writing it. We write it now like this, Ayokpa. And so this word means new, hemita, and then this is year, afami. So afami hemita ayopa means Happy New Year. So somebody said Happy New Year to you, Nita. That was nice. Okay, next question is DNC Imafotsi. Imafotsi means like his grandfather. So DNC, are you a grandfather? Just wondering. Okay, so DNC wants to know how to say Jesus Christ is Lord. And I'm going to put on there a way that you could say that. So you could say, Chiho woshi at Abba benitli. So it's like yeah, like Jesus Christ is God. Or so Jehovah is like a new word for God, and our original word for God was this Abba Benitli. So Abba Benitli is the one who sits on high. And so sometimes, oh, I didn't say that. Chihowoshi at Abba Benitli. So Chihowoshi is God's son. So yeah, I'm a little nervous probably because the whole live stream fiasco. So that's probably why I'm getting a little flustered. But anyway, I shall try to breathe. So Chihowoshi is God's son, and then Chihowoshi at, so he's the subject, and he is God. Notice there's no really a word for is. So if you watched again my last video about creating Chickasaw sentences, then you'll know that the to be forms like is and are included in most Chickasaw words. So Chihowoshi at Abba Benili, so Jesus, God's son, is God or Lord. Or you could say Chihowoshi at Chihowa if you want to use the newer word for God. All right, moving on to the next thing. Oh, and this is just a reminder that if you're a coffee snob, head over to coronadocoffee.net and use your Chickasaw code, the code word Chickasaw, Chickassaw, to get 15% off your order. And by doing that, you're helping support this channel. And if you're a coffee snob like me, then you'll know what I mean. But they have geisha from time to time. So it's amazing coffee. Excellent. All right. Next question comes from Debbie Robertson Swearens, and she asks, what is the Chickasaw word for grace? Okay, so we don't really have a word for grace, but again, you could use that word that we used before. Oh, here's my coffee commercial. Chickasaw word for 15% off your order. coronadocoffee.net. All right. Holy Tobly. Holy Tobly. Notice there's two I's here. That means it's a long I. Holy Tobly. To treasure, take care of, or hang on to. So grace means something like God's unmerited favor. So in a way that you could use it like that. So Abba Benili at Sa Holy Tobli. So God takes care of me, or he treasures me, or he gives me grace. Okay, let's see. You could also, there's another one I didn't put on here, where you could say it like God gives you gifts, or he's given you gifts. Let me put that on there. Okay, so here's another way you could maybe express God's grace is Abba beni liat halbina amatuk. Abba beni liat halbina amatuk. All right, so God has given me gifts. Yes, he has. And the next one comes from Caden Harjo. And Caden Harjo wants to know how to say pretty girls walk. I'm not sure why you want to know this, Caden, but I'm going to tell you how to say it. So here you've got your pretty girls, and that is Chipotatik Chokmatsi. And now they're the subject. So at Chipotatik Chokmatsi at Noah. I'll say it again for you. Chipotatik Chokmatsi at Noah. Or you could also do the vowel loss, which I do often do vowel loss. And I teach more about that in my classes. Chipotatik chukmatsat noah. Chipotatik chukmatsat noah. And it could also mean the pretty girl is walking, or the pretty girls are walking. So it could be singular or plural. Okay, we have one more question. And this one comes to me from Amber Garmin. And Amber wants to know, how do you say green and blue differently? So if you guys got the Chaffa deck, Chaffa, when you went to the Chickasaw Festival, then you probably noticed that green and blue are the same. So we've got green and blue here, and they look exactly the same. Well, what do we do? Well, interestingly, green and blue were the same words in a lot of languages. Apparently, on the investigating I did on it, the color names didn't originally have to do with the actual color, but more like the quality of something or something about the character of something. So nowadays, what they're doing in some cases to distinguish is pronouncing one way and one the other. So like blue would be oak chamali, but then they might say green is oak chamatli. Now, if I understand correctly, this is the Choctaw word for blue and green. So really they both just mean blue and green. But what I've done for my students is I'll say oak chamali for blue and oak chamatli for green. So I hear you see on my cards what I have done. So I've just added the little accent here and the glottal stop for the green. All right, so that is one way to do it. And if you got the other deck of cards, you probably were like, what? Oak chamali, it's the same for blue and green. Yeah. So you could use oak chamali here and oak chamatli for green. Okay. Wow. That did not turn out the way I expected, but I hope you get to watch this. I'm sorry that the live stream tanked. I don't know what happened, why it was echoing, but hopefully we can get that figured out because I'd love to get on here live and spend some time with you guys live and just answer your questions and enjoy the community. So hopefully I'll see you soon, and I'll try to add links into below the video in the description of the things that I mentioned in today's live stream. So hopefully I'll see you again. Ciao.